Hello, kids! Welcome, everyone! If you're ready, we have a brand new story for you today. Before we dive into the tale, you can support us by liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. Let's start our story adventure. Are you ready?
Today, we present to you the story we prepared, Forest Guardians, The Ant's Journey. Sit back and relax. Let's dive into the tale. Chapter 1, The Danger. Deep in the forest, hidden beneath green leaves, lies a large and intricate ant colony. This colony was built over the years by ants working together in unity. However, one morning, a disturbance spreads through the colony. News of a new threat from a nearby human settlement, which could destroy the ant colony, starts to spread. One morning, Antonia noticed the ants gathered at the colony entrance. Their faces were filled with concern and fear. What happened? Antonia asked, her voice firm yet calm. Bert stepped forward and said, "Antonia, something is happening outside. Humans are entering the forest and starting to cut down the trees. If we don't stop them, the colony is in danger." With determination in her eyes, Antonia said, "We need to make a plan to stop this threat. By working together, we will protect our colony." Antonia, Bert, Cleo, Dex, and Elara gathered together. Cleo, with her knowledge of nature, provided some clues on how they could stop the humans. There is a plant deep in the forest that can deter humans. If we find this plant and place it around our colony, it might keep them away, Cleo said. Dex excitedly said, "I must set off to find that plant immediately. We need to move quickly." Elara added, "I will prepare the necessary supplies for any injuries you might encounter on the way. Everyone's health is important to me." Dex set off into the depths of the forest with swift steps. As he moved quickly and nimbly, he began to explore the mysterious and dark corners of the forest. However, during his journey, he encountered a group of enemy insects. Dex devised a clever plan to distract the enemies using the nature around him. As he swiftly escaped, he managed to lead the enemy insects in the wrong direction and safely found the plant. When Dex returned to the colony with the plant, Antonia and the others immediately implemented the protection plan. The plant was placed around the colony, and when the humans approached, the plant's natural protective properties kept them away. Thanks to the brave and clever actions of Antonia and her friends, the ant colony was protected. The ants inside the colony understood that as long as they stood together in unity and solidarity, they could overcome any threat. Chapter 2, The Plan Against the Chemicals. The colony was protected thanks to the efforts of Antonia and her team. However, a few weeks later, a new threat emerged in another corner of the forest. In addition to cutting down trees, humans began using chemical pesticides to destroy the vegetation in the forest. One morning, Cleo approached Antonia with her concern. "Antonia, I've noticed a new danger. Humans are using chemicals to destroy other parts of the forest. If they continue like this, the colony and the rest of the forest will suffer great damage." Antonia immediately called a meeting to understand the situation. "We need to find a way to stop the effects of these chemicals. Dex, you need to scout and find out where they are using these chemicals and how we can stop them." Before starting his mission, Dex received the necessary supplies from Elara. He set off into the depths of the forest with quick steps. This time his mission was more challenging because the chemicals were affecting not only the plants but also the animals. During his journey, Dex encountered animals weakened and injured by the chemicals. He used the healing plants Elara had given him to help them and continued on his way. When he reached the area where the chemicals were being used, he saw large tanks and machines. He examined the equipment humans were using to spread the chemicals and returned to inform Antonia. Based on the information Dex provided, Antonia, Cleo, and Elara began to formulate a plan. Cleo knew that some plants in nature could neutralize the effects of these chemicals. There are plenty of these plants in certain parts of the forest. By collecting them and placing them at strategic points, we can reduce the effects of the chemicals, Cleo said. Bert was ready to ensure the team's protection. The other guardians and I will accompany you while collecting and placing the plants. We won't let the chemicals harm us. Antonia and her team started gathering the plants from the areas Cleo had indicated. Bert and the guardians protected them from the chemicals. Meanwhile, Elara continued to help injured animals and ants. Working together, they placed these plants in various parts of the forest and managed to stop the spread of the chemicals. After a tough struggle, Antonia and her team returned to their nest. The forest and the colony were safe once again thanks to their courage and solidarity. This experience showed us how important it is to work together and trust in the wisdom of nature, Antonia said. We can face any threat because we are a family and together we are strong. Chapter 3: An Unexpected Ally. After successfully neutralizing the chemical threat, the colony enjoyed a period of peace. However, one evening, a peculiar visitor arrived at the entrance of the colony. It was a beetle named Brutus, who was known for his strength and resilience. Brutus approached Antonia with a respectful nod. Antonia, I bring news from the far side of the forest. A group of invasive ants, much larger than us, has been spotted. They are aggressive and have been taking over territories. I fear they might target your colony next. Antonia, always alert and strategic, welcomed Brutus. Thank you for the warning, Brutus. We must prepare. But first, tell us more about these invasive ants. What do you know about them? Brutus explained, these ants are known as the Legion. They are ruthless and have no regard for other creatures. They move in large numbers, overwhelming any defenses. However, they have a weakness. They are sensitive to certain plant extracts that grow in the eastern part of the forest. Cleo's eyes lit up with recognition. I know the plants you're talking about. We can create a barrier using those extracts to deter them. Antonia turned to Dex and Bert. Dex, I need you to lead a team to gather these plants. Bert, you and the Guardians will fortify our defenses and train our warriors. Elara added, I'll prepare medical supplies and set up a field hospital for any injuries we might face. Dex, accompanied by Brutus and a few other scouts, set off towards the eastern part of the forest. The journey was fraught with challenges as they navigated through dense foliage and faced various predators. At one point, they encountered a swarm of angry wasps. Brutus, with his immense strength, managed to fend them off, allowing Dex and the others to proceed. After a long and arduous journey, they finally found the plants. They carefully collected the extracts and started their journey back. Meanwhile, back at the colony, Bert and the Guardians were busy training the ants in combat tactics. They built walls and dug trenches around the colony to create a strong defensive position. Antonia and Cleo worked on preparing the plant extracts to create a potent deterrent for the Legion ants. They mixed the extracts with water and placed them in strategic locations around the colony. As night fell, the colony was ready. The atmosphere was tense as everyone awaited the arrival of the Legion ants. Sure enough, as the moon rose high in the sky, a distant rumbling could be heard. The ground trembled as the Legion approached. Antonia stood at the forefront, rallying her troops. Remember, we fight not just for ourselves, but for our home and future generations. Stay strong and trust in our preparations. The Legion ants arrived, and the battle began. The invaders were met with a fierce resistance as the defenders held their ground. The plant extracts worked as intended, creating a barrier that confused and repelled the Legion ants. The battle raged on for hours, but the defenders, with their well-planned strategy and determination, managed to hold off the Legion ants. The invaders, realizing they could not break through, eventually retreated. As dawn broke, the colony erupted in cheers. They had won, but it was a hard-fought victory. Many were injured, and there was much to rebuild. Elara and her team worked tirelessly to treat the wounded, while Antonia, Cleo, Bert, and Dex assessed the damage and began planning the recovery. In the days that followed, the colony focused on rebuilding and strengthening their home. Brutus decided to stay and help, earning the respect and friendship of the colony. Antonia called a meeting to discuss their future. We have faced many challenges, but each one has made us stronger. We must remain vigilant and continue to work together. With unity and courage, we can overcome any threat. The colony agreed, and their bond grew even stronger. They knew that as long as they stood together, they could face whatever challenges the forest brought their way. Chapter 4: Lasting Peace and the Future. The colony quickly recovered after the defeat of the Legion ants. Brutus became a permanent member of the colony and played a crucial role in developing new defense strategies. Under Antonia's leadership, the colony not only strengthened its defenses, but also formed alliances with other forest inhabitants. One early morning, Antonia, Cleo, Bert, Dex, Elara, and Brutus gathered for a meeting. The sun was just rising, and the forest was filled with the chirping of birds. Antonia said, "Today, we gather here because we want to build on everything we have achieved. Our colony, together with the other forest dwellers, has become stronger and more resilient. By always working together, we will maintain peace and secure our future." Cleo, with her wise old eyes, looked around and added, "The wisdom of the forest has always guided us. By preserving nature's balance and using the solutions it offers, we can overcome any challenge." Bert, with a strong and determined voice, said, "We are always ready to protect our colony. As long as we are together, no threat can harm us." Dex, energetic and excited, said, "New adventures and discoveries await us. Every day is a new opportunity to learn." Elara, with a compassionate smile, said, "I will continue to work for the health and well-being of our colony. By healing together, we will become even stronger." Brutus, looking at his new friends, said, "It's a great honor to be here with you. I will always be by your side with my strength and experience." The colony had been rebuilt and strengthened after the difficult times. As a leader, Antonia was determined to lead the colony into a brighter future. Every member of the colony knew they were part of a whole and that they were stronger together. Days, weeks, and months passed. The colony continued to grow and develop as part of the forest. New alliances were formed, new discoveries were made, and new lessons were learned every day. One day, Antonia stood atop the nest, looking around. "We have proven that, as a family, we can overcome any challenge. With unity and solidarity, we will always remain strong. The forest is our home, and it is our duty to protect it." The colony collectively shouted in agreement with Antonia's words. Although the future was full of uncertainties, the ants would always work together to maintain peace and harmony. Deep in the forest, the ant nest would always shine as a symbol of living together and solidarity. Thanks to their courage, wisdom, and teamwork, Antonia and her team had protected and strengthened their colony in a world full of challenges. Their story remained a lesson in the importance of friendship, solidarity, and working together. This ant nest deep in the forest would forever be the home of ants who knew they were always stronger together.
We've reached the end of this adventurous journey. Wishing to meet you all again in another story in the future, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Good night, everyone!